Christmas or Happy Holidays, as I've been informed or re-educated to say. Because otherwise Merry Christmas alienates non-Christians, potentially. I'm on a hike, it's nice, very nice. Seen a few kookaburras, which sound like monkeys. I've seen quite a lot of kangaroos, a lot of which I just scared shitless and they all scurried away. Accidentally sort of came upon them. Yeah, doing nothing special today, nor will I probably be doing for New Year's either, which is pretty fine given I can do what I want, which sounds selfish, and it is, but yeah, I kind of wanted to get some space today, and somebody from the hostel wanted to ask to come round, and then she said she can go wherever, and then sort of said I could do whatever, and I was like, I just thought I don't want to. I want to spend it alone, really. I spent a lot of time with Nico, and I just in his vicinity, and I wanted to get some space. So here I am, space, and it's nice. It's been nice so far. Called my mum this morning, which was nice. I met her new, I'll just call him boyfriend. They're doing well. My dad's partner's daughter has just recently contracted COVID, and my dad's partner's best friend has recently just died, so she's not doing very well. Not the dead person, because well, she's dead, so she's certainly not doing very well. But my dad's partner is just kind of depressed. Other than that, all is pretty groovy, I guess. As I say, Nico's not going to Sydney, so he's staying here. I need to find a way to keep myself sane. I finished this morning the Krishnamurti book, which was incredible, very, very good. So I'll talk a bit about stuff from that, I guess, today, now, in a minute. I have no real other plans going ahead. That's me. I started, I guess, a new writing project last week, or this week actually, about 4 or 5 days ago. That's basically me just collecting together pieces of my journal from this year, and collating them into a document, in the hope that maybe it'll just be a collection of fragments, really, from this year. Sort of memoir, sort of an autobiography, I guess. I'd like to continue on from yesterday talking about ambition and that sort of jazz. So we'll start, I guess. I was talking with a friend, and he was saying about how, I said yesterday about how if you kind of put the toil in to get to a certain amount of money, to accumulate a certain amount of money, and then you just do whatever you want, then that's good, that's fine, that's admirable, that's what I guess should be doing. But then, you know, you're making an assumption there that when you get to that point, when you have that money, that you will then be happy, right? But if you're carrying along the mindset that you currently have, then when you get to that point, well, you'll still have that mindset. So perhaps for a year or two, maybe less, you will not be happy. You will be happy, sorry. And then you'll start to want something else to sort of quell, sort of appease, sort of sate your desire, your hunger for more. And Fab, this guy at work, Fab's not so fantastic, not so fabulous response, or his response, should I say, I shouldn't judge it, but his response was that that's fine, that's how we live, that's what we do, we work towards something meaningful, we achieve it, then we work towards something else meaningful. And so far I'm not really buying that. I seem to have, let's say, changed paths from this sort of materialistic, acquisitive, yeah, to acquire, this acquisitive mindset. And I'm not saying I have, I mean, this is largely a result, a consequence of reading this book, and also quite simply of this year, the way my mindset has changed, perhaps. Potentially it is just primarily from having read this book, though, think on these things. Hopefully I will integrate it, but for the time being it seems that my response to this idea of having a meaning, having a purpose, having something to strive toward, and then achieve, and then replace with some higher goal, my problem, my issue with that is that it's not something that is born out of, I don't know, I don't want to say love or a love for life, because I'm just taking this author, Krishnamurti, I'm just taking his words and just kind of not thinking and not forming my own opinion. I'm just repeating something I said, which is empty in itself. If I don't believe there's a lot of merit in just reading for the sake of acquiring knowledge, so you can kind of spout it out to your friends and appear more intelligent than them, in hopes of feeling superior and acquiring, attaining greater status and respect. That in itself, I believe, is pretty empty, and I think that's why I used to read a lot of the things I used to read, or went to read a lot of the things I have now read. Big on ant. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, for example, this idea of getting a cabin in Norway with Elliot. See, what I could do is force myself to sort of, I don't know, learn trading, day trading, or push myself to go into web development and get accumulate quite a lot of money from clients, building a clientele, and getting a load of jobs done and earning a bit of money and having some regular work. But I think if I did that and I acquired enough money and I went to buy a cabin, I don't think I would be, I'm happy now. Now I can, now I can work on my writing. Now I can, code things that are more meaningful to me. It sounds ideal, and that's what it is. It's an ideal. It's idealistic. It's quixotic in that it's naively idealistic, if that's a correct use of that word. Maybe I'm just being pretentious and ignorant of the words, like proper usage, and just talking out my arse. But my point is that it's not that I shouldn't want this goal, this idea of, it's not that I shouldn't want to go to Norway and have this cabin and live self-sufficiently and sustainably, because to me that is something I definitely do want, but I don't think the present should be sacrificed for a potential future, if that makes sense. I think I will can potentially get there. I don't think it has to be contradictory with another way of living, by which I mean trying to focus on just finding things that you enjoy, finding out what you love to do, it just potentially delays this attainment of getting a cabin in Norway, and that to me isn't necessarily a bad thing. If it takes me 5 years instead of 2 or 3 years to get there, then that can be okay. Maybe that's fine. I think it's just naive to say, yes, I will, try to make a decent amount of money and save a decent amount of money by doing things which may not be in line, congruent with my personality, just for the sake of achieving this goal, because maybe other people can do that, and I think when they are doing that, then they're kind of lying to themselves, because they put so much weight into this final goal that they are sort of deluded enough to sacrifice the present, and maybe this idea makes, this ideal of future joy suffices to make the present and the interim between now and the attainment, to make that, it makes it bearable, makes it tolerable for them. But myself, like when I did those 2 shifts at the bar in just over a year ago, actually, like last November, whenever it was, last December, early December, I did it for 2 days. I did 2 shifts, sorry, because I didn't like it. I couldn't stand it. I just felt this is a waste of my time. I'm earning some money, and I might be getting tips. I might eventually get tips and stuff. That isn't worthwhile, because I'm embedding into myself anxiety and dread, and they're the same thing, basically. But it's just not fun. It would have made my life pretty miserable. So yeah, if I were to force myself to do web development, I was finding it very boring. As I've gone back to try to push myself to do the online projects, and I'm just doing it, I'm like, this is boring. I don't want to be doing this. And to tell myself, no, you should be doing it, and then you get that inner conflict. You're doing that over months and months. I would just quell any sort of energy, passion I have for life, and I would become stunted. I would stagnate, and eventually maybe I do get clients, but then I'd probably arrive at those projects with the same attitude, like, I can't be fucked, I don't want to do this, there's no genuine desire to do this. But then I'd force myself to do them. I'd acquire enough money, potentially, if I actually got that far without just fucking giving up. And then I'd get the cabin in Norway, and then I'd go, good. And then I'd probably feel good for a week or two and exploring, and then I'd have the same mindset. I'd have the same outlook, the semi-nihilistic or pessimistic or cynical outlook on life. However, if I were to, try to just find what I genuinely enjoyed and just follow my curiosity and try to eliminate distraction from my life, and allowed my curiosity to sort of breathe, to put it one way, and then to follow that curiosity and to, let's say, write and do more of these videos and read and try to travel and go on walks and whatever, just do what I want to do, then maybe it would be years until I make enough money to actually realize these material dreams. But I think by the time I got there and actually lived in this cabin and whatever, I would be a more human. I'd be more human. I'd be more of a person. I'd be richer in character, and I might actually enjoy the taste of life, as opposed to feeling like I need to constantly be striving and struggling, because I think that's kind of a lie. I don't think we are inherently despairing or pessimistic or struggling creatures. maybe we have been for centuries or millennia or whatever, but I don't think we have an innate disposition towards strife and struggle. I think that is generally culturally and then self-imposed. So yeah, that's that. I think that was somewhat more coherent than yesterday. Than yesterday's, you know, I won't call it babble, but I think that sums it up, honestly. Try to reduce distraction to allow myself to be curious, try to ask questions and understand myself and my actions, which can be difficult. I think that was a nice definition of meditation that Krishnamurti gave, was that it's like basically the action of trying to understand the mind, not just like what's the word? Not modulate. No, what was it? Regulate. Not just to like regulate anxiety, but to understand how the mind works. And watch it, I guess, and that's how you do it. Observing it through observation. So, yeah, try to reduce distraction, cultivate something of a healthy environment conducive to my personality, which is something I've said a million times this year, to enable myself to have a greater chance at learning and following what I genuinely love to do, which so far I've found is journaling and writing and, I don't know, introspecting and discovering, I guess, and I don't know, yeah, reflecting and just talking. So the idea is to continue that into the next year and see what happens, because maybe I do this project and I go back through my other journals and collate them all and make some kind of, I was thinking of doing like month by month and then just having like not really connected paragraphs, just of random stuff, different entries, different paragraphs, changing names and events, and then having it as like one book, I guess, and then seeing what to do with it, sending it to some friends to read, family perhaps, but it will be very personal, of course. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what next year will bring, but hopefully if I can just follow what I actually enjoy to do, rather than pressuring myself to do things through discipline and compulsion, then maybe I can arrive at a healthier mental state, and who knows, I don't know, maybe money and happiness should just be byproducts. Maybe that's will be hard for me to swallow, because obviously I would like to travel and not have to rely on working arduous jobs to earn a livelihood, and I would like to I'd love to right now be in a cabin next to an open fire in a library and hiking and have a vegetable garden, root vegetables, and cook and have a small group of tight-knit friends, and all that's cool and that requires money, but I don't think I need that to be happy. I think the mindset and the outlook on life, I don't know what it's called, like Weltanschauung, the worldview you cultivate. So that was pretentious. The worldview you cultivate, your mindset should always come before, should always precede the realizing of these material goals. We did it, boys. Christmas Day bullshittery. How do you like this for a setting? Cool, huh? I'm in Greswell Park. Hopefully you heard everything I said in that, because I don't know if you heard anything. Maybe you didn't, maybe you did. And yeah, that's it. That's me. That's where I am. I'm here. There are things and things, and hopefully this should be better quality because I'm doing it with my rear-facing camera, so I can't see my beautiful, handsome face. Man, I had a call with Mum this morning, and she was saying, like, why don't you get a nose piercing? You're gonna get your eyebrows pierced. Why don't you get a tattoo? And her like partner slash boyfriend slash fuck buddy slash friends with benefits slash big dick was like, a man doesn't need, a man doesn't have ear piercings and tattoos. I was like, well, I mean, I see what you're saying, and fair enough, you know. And she's like, no, you look good with a tattoo and stuff. I was like, Mum, you can have your fucking nipple piercings or whatever other fucking piercings you got, but just leave me, just chill. Yeah, it was alright. He looked old. He looked kind of old, but then again, probably not as old as my dad, but my dad looks pretty young. Dad's an old boy. He is. Still kicking though. Still got his ticker ticking along. And yeah, that's it. Have a fucking awesome Christmas, yeah? Yeah. Fuck bitches, make money, or yeah, get that bread, yeah.